Hey everyone, Andrew here, bringing you another video review, and today we're going to be doing Superboy, issue number 1. Take a look at this comic cover right here. Now, in my opinion, DC has always kind of treated Superboy as the black sheep of the Superman family. Why? Well, for one thing, his powers are completely different from Superman and Supergirl. They're not actually true Kryptonian powers. Second thing is he's actually a clone of both Superman and Lex Luthor, so he's kind of an outsider looking in on all angles. He's not truly human, he's not truly Kryptonian, and, well, he's a clone. Next is that he never really showed up in the Superman comics too much. I mean, he made appearances here and there, but he had his own comic. He was part of Young Justice and part of Teen Titans. He kind of did his own thing. Towards the later stuff, recently he has been showing up, like the New Krypton and the Doomsday stuff, but really he's never really crossed over in the Superman stuff all that much. But you know what? It's what I like about Superboy. I like the fact that he's just not another carbon copy of Superman power-wise. The fact that he kind of goes off and do his own thing. I like how he's a clone, and it's an interesting concept and unique and different than anything else in the Superman family. And his costume looks unique and different from anyone else in the Superman family. He stands out, and I like that. That's cool. That's great. In addition to that, Superboy is a likable character. He genuinely wants to do good. He's a good person. He's a superhero. But he can be a little cocky, a little rash, a little quick to act. I mean, he is still a teenager. But Connor, underneath all the prep boy kind of jock exterior that he has, does have that heart of gold. Clone heart of gold, but still has a heart of gold. The friends he has, the few he has, he holds dear and he loves greatly. And he's always come off as a character that you grow with. I enjoy Superboy, and that's why out of all the Superman family, I'm particularly interested on where they go with this. Now, recently I heard in one of the interviews that they're trying to keep everything canon with Superboy up until when they joined up with the Teen Titans. I don't think that's the case with this comic. But we're just going to have to see. Is that necessarily a bad thing, or is that kind of a good thing? Well, let's jump into Superboy, issue number 1, and see if they handle Connor nicely. Well, anyways, the issue starts off with the beginning. Connor, and we're just going to refer to him as Superboy in this because he's not actually referred to as Connor too much. Superboy is in his cloning cell. All he's ever known is that cloning cell. He sees people on the outside. He can understand what they're saying. Apparently his cognitive abilities are amazing because although he's only been alive for about 3 or so months, he's able to learn from them, he's able to watch them, he learns language from them, and he understands the world slightly from them, just from their little bits of talking. He also goes into detail on how he feels every atom of his body, how his senses extend out to every portion of him. Well, anyway, Superboy is being watched at. He never actually spoke. He never actually really moved. He was just kind of there. And, well, the scientists deemed him too dangerous, and also they thought that they probably could learn more from him dead and, dissecting him than actually alive. So they decided to pull the plug. However, Superboy doesn't want this, and he goes berserk. Takes him out, and then next we see him, he's in school? 1 month later, Superboy is in school. But we find out that this isn't your normal school. He finds Rose Wilson. Ravager? What is she doing here? Anyways, he finds Rose Wilson. He talks to her. They kind of become friends. And weird things happen. He acts differently in the real world than he does, in general, on how Superboy should act. And we later find out that he's actually in a virtual reality world. And that he knows he's in a virtual reality world. But he's curious on exactly how he's being studied. And he's just going about his day and doing his own thing because he knows he's in this virtual reality world. Why should I react to something if really I'm actually learning from something? And then we come to the conclusion of the issue, which leads into some other stuff. And I'm not going to go too much into detail about that. So let's jump into the good, the bad, or whether or not you should get it. Good. Well, I like how they handle Connor in this. It was a unique take on him. I really particularly like how smart they made him. His approach to how he's being poked and prodded at by the scientists are similar to that of a Martian Manhunter in the New Frontier, in that he's in this containment unit, he's being researched, he's being watched, he's being studied, but in reality, he's studying them. And although he could break out at any time and do anything he wants, he prefers to stay there because he's learning from them. He's understanding them, and he's getting his view of the world through them. So it's kind of unique in that Connor is actually the one really studying them. And I like that. The new Superboy suit that shows up in the cover of this, that shows up at the end, it looks kind of cool. Do I think that should be the final say on the Superboy suit? I don't know. The one we saw from the Teen Titans cover doesn't really look all that great. This one looks not that bad, but still, I think it should have the primary colors that the Superman suit has, too. Well, at the same time, being teenage-like. But for the most part, the costume kind of looks good. And I like how this really builds the character of Connor and the atmospheres, and kind of Cadmus, too, or Nowhere is actually where he's from. Nowhere. It's not Cadmus this time, it's Nowhere. Which is an abbreviation as such. Lois makes a little bit of appearance in this, and you kind of see connections between her and Nowhere, and it's kind of nicely done. And I actually like Rose Wilson showing up in this. Fresh start for Rose, and I'm kind of cool with it. Hey, let's try something new. Bad. Very little action in this, and although we don't really need action, for something like a Superman family title, it should have had a little bit more when it's come down to action. That, and I get the eerie feeling that with the ending, it's going to lead into the Teen Titans, which we already know that Superboy's comic does tie into the Teen Titans, but I kind of don't want it to. I want it to do his own thing first. Whether or not you should get it. To be honest, yeah. The good definitely weigh out the bad. And although this isn't the Connor we've known and loved from the past, this is a Connor that's growing, and he's really interesting, he's really unique, and I actually really enjoyed this issue. It was fun. It was a new take on Superboy. Don't worry, he's not a robot. He is still a clone. And the origin seems to be better and more drawn out and more well done than the original origin, which, you know, clone Superman, Reign of Superman stuff, Return of Superman stuff. So I'm really actually starting to like this a lot. So I do recommend picking this up. If you're a fan of Superboy, don't worry, you'll enjoy this. So this is Andrew saying peace out for now.